Hey, what's up? What's up? This is Tony Harvin, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'd like to thank everybody who's been coming on this YouTube channel. Much grace, blessings, and prayers to everybody. We got Facebook Live to my right, Facebook Live to my right on the Facebook camera. It may seem like it's to your left, but welcome everybody on this Sunday evening for sure. This is Live Conversations number 102. Live Conversations number 102. And we're here to talk about child molesters, creeps. I'm pretty sure we hear about them a whole lot, especially in the church. And I know some people probably have experienced, something like this. So this topic could be, very touchy for a lot of people out there, for sure. You know what I mean? But we here to dabble on this topic, you know. Yes, indeed, because time in and time out, you hear stories, whether it's from R. Kelly, whether it's from some pastor from some false church. It could be your own family member. You understand? It could be your own teacher, for sure. But here's my disclaimer. My disclaimer is I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold no type of titles in the church or anything. I'm just a brother having a conversation in general, feeding off the people who come in to comment and things like that. So I greet YouTube, those who are on YouTube Live. I greet Facebook, those who are on Facebook. And what's up to everybody? What's up to Joshua Smith? What up, Mr. Ham? Yolanda Johnson off of YouTube. What up, Marvin? What up, Trell, Light Slim, Moni? What up, Steverson? What up, Carrie Foster? Greetings to everybody. Moni says, much Detroit love celebrating. Oh, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday. Happy born day is a blessing to live another year for sure. You said, good evening to you. I love your content. Thank you. Appreciate that. You said, and I appreciate your willingness always. And thank you for putting a lot out. I guess you meant that with Pastor Dino Jennings. He says, my personal pit bull pastor. For sure. I thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in for sure. Whereas though a lot of people from Facebook, they don't know too much that I post up Gino. And it's greatly appreciated that you've been watching this YouTube channel for how long I've been putting out the Truth of God, 6-7 years in general. So thank you so much for that. What up, Miss? What is that? Miss Missa? What up, Facts? What up? For Fats? What up, Hank So Sweet? What's up, Peggy? What up, Ricardo? What's that? Athea McKenzie. Appreciate that. Moni, you says, I feel like this. Okay, this is Moni from YouTube. Let me fix this a little bit. Make sure that's a little bit sharp on the camera. All right. You said, I feel like this. If you are caught touching a child, you should be put to death. Wow. So do you feel the same way? That R. Kelly got, convicted for all that nonsense. That got convicted for that he deserved the death penalty. So that's my question to you at Moni. Do you feel that way? Let me continue your comment from YouTube. You said should be put to I guess you meant to be put on the death penalty. He says, as long as it's been proven, it's never a need to put your hands on someone's child in a sexual manner is wrong. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. And there's a lot of pedophiles out here. And I'm pretty sure those who are watching this YouTube channel or those who are on Facebook, some have probably experienced that, when they was young, with family members, with a teacher, a coach, with a pastor, but they're afraid to speak up. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if anybody touch on the child, listen, report it. Stop being afraid of these creeps. For sure. There's a lot of creeps out here, man. You know what I mean? It just so happened that a celebrity like R. Kelly, I'm surprised that it took them a long time to really dish out 30 years to him. But like you said, Moni, those type of people deserve the death penalty, you know, which is funny, which is very, very funny for sure. All right. What up, Rachel? What up, Rachel? Rachel? Okay. Elbert Fuller, what up? What up? Stevenson says, off subject, off of YouTube. He says, but hope there wasn't any trouble with the black Israelites surrounding the congregation today for service. Well, I don't know anything about the black Hebrew Israelites, because I was traveling today, ripping and running throughout the road, throughout these roads, from Jersey City, New Jersey to Charlotte, North Carolina. So I've been on the roads throughout this weekend. I just got in about an hour and a half ago. So I don't know what transpired with the Israelites, if something transpired today. So when I have the time, I'll probably look into it, but that's not like a new thing as far as like, people like that heckling if it did happen, All right. You says, can you please tell us how can I send a story ideal to you of a situation that I had to deal with, and I would love to share with the general public on your platform because this is a great topic. Well, just email me. The email, just look in the blue highlighted section to the far right at the top on YouTube. What up, Julia? Okay, what is that? Penelope, who says the abuse of children is a very terrible thing. He says, personally, I have okay, let me reread this from Penelope P off of YouTube. You said the abuse of children is a very terrible thing. Personally, I have experienced child abuse from my own child. She was 2.5. I decided to go back to college, and they had a daycare on the premises. Okay, understandable. It is a very terrible thing. You know what I mean? I don't understand how can a grown man or a grown woman, have a mindset like that. It's crazy. There's a lot of creeps out here, and I'm pretty sure it's probably some creeps that's watching, that's upset right now. But it's all good, what they say. What's hidden in the dark shall come to the light, So if you're a creep and it's happened to be on the news and whatnot, because y'all know I expose them on here on this YouTube channel. I have no problem, with exposing people, especially if they dabbling in things like that for sure. All right. What up, Anthony Brody? What up? What up? Stevenson, you says pro-life. Okay. Continuing from Penelope, you said she was abused physically in what most of us call Montgomery County, Maryland. Oh, you from Montgomery County? Wow. You said she is now 23 and has shown many signs of that abuse as well as the abuse of others as she had to grow up. Wow, that's crazy. That's definitely crazy. It's a terrible thing to go through. I'm pretty sure of that. All right. What up? What is that? What up, JJ? What up, Tyler? He says hello. He said, I saw you were going to be on the interview at the International Convocation. Oh, yeah, next week. Next week is the convocation in Greensboro, North Carolina. For sure. I definitely will be there. Appreciate that. Penelope, you says, please keep your children prayed to stay with them, talk with them, show them what abuse looks like or feels like. Most of all, pray those demons to go away in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. that Penelope has said. Okay, Elijah says, well, I ain't reading that, man. What you talking about? I ain't reading that, man. What are you talking about for sure? Athea McKenzie. Let me see Athea McKenzie. You says, I have had deathbed confessions from patients who are about to die about how they were molested as children and never told it. Their lives were entirely ruined because of it. They lived covering it. Wow, that's crazy. That's something deep right there. Well, the person from YouTube, Athea McKenzie, he stated that they came across some patients who were on a deathbed and confessed that, they were molested, as children, but never told it, which some people, like I said earlier, some people probably watching this right now, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, when you had some knucklehead, grown man, or even some grown woman, you know what I'm saying, to touch on you as a child, but you haven't even spoken up, what I usually do, or once in a while, is what is that called? The National Sex Offender Search. Whereas though you can search up those who are registered sex offenders in the area, and I search that, and I search that, whether it's from those who are in Jersey City, those who are in Bayonne, New Jersey, or even right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We know people could repent and be sorry and things like that, but you got to be careful for sure, as the person said earlier. All right. Miss, you says these kids these days are being grown. Like, what were their ages? You got that right. You're right. A lot of it seems like a lot of the kids in these days are being more fast and grown. So you're right. But that's not that. I'm not saying you're giving an excuse that is entitled for somebody grown to touch on them. You know what I mean? No grown man or no grown woman should be enticed, by looking at some kid at all. You know what I'm saying? You should get no arousement at all. You understand that? You should not get no type of arousement, no type of thoughts at all. Especially if you're behind the pulpit, man. For sure. All right. What up? Let me see. Athea McKenzie says they are the original Israelites, not the black Israelites. Listen, we ain't talking about that right now. Light Slim says the court system failed my daughter and I. We got away from one, but he slipped through the court system. They treated us like the culprit. What do you mean by that, Light Slim? What do you mean? You says the court system failed your daughter and yourself. So I'm trying to understand what you mean. All right. You says it's the closest. Okay, I understand. So you stating that it's the closest people that will do that to you. You know what? From reading the stories and whatnot in the news and from hearing stories from people that I know, you got a point. You know what I'm saying? You definitely got a point. Those who are closer or closest to you will most likely do those things. You know what I'm saying? All right. You absolutely right about that one. For sure. All right. Hey, what up, Rachel? Rachel James says, don't let your children be in the doctor alone or do sports alone. I'm trying to understand that part. You said don't let your children be in the doctor alone or the dentist alone. I mean, I never allowed that to happen, but I understand what you're talking about for sure. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right. What up, Flo? Flo, what up? You says You said being molested will scar you for life. Only the Most High can heal those wounds. Hallelujah. Cool, for sure. As the person said earlier, some people was on a deathbed and they confess that they never told nobody. You know what I mean? And they lived through that, or they lived with it. And it messed them up. It can definitely mess a person up, especially if you hiding it on the inside for so long. You know what I mean? It's on your mind. It doesn't matter if you try to forget about it. It's still going to be on the subconscious of your mind and the subconscious of your heart. You know what I'm saying? All right. Kate Stevenson, you says you've been molested. Listen, sorry to hear that. For sure. Definitely sorry to hear that. You know what I mean? And for those who are keeping that stuff in, I think you need to talk about it with somebody. All right. Jared James, you says, is adoption a sin? Listen, type in, do I got that video up? I'm trying to think. That's a good question, though. Is adoption a sin? Listen, sometimes kids could be in the system. They could be in the system, and they could be, a husband and wife, kind and generous. I believe it was a football player by the name of Michael O'Hara or something like that, who played for the Baltimore Ravens, who had a movie called The Blind Side. I believe those parents, those husband and wife of the Caucasian descent, they adopted him. You know what I mean? Because of his living conditions, because his mother wasn't taking care of him properly. So if it's a situation like that, I don't think it's a sin. You know what I mean? You're being a cheerful giver. You're having a loving heart, being cheerfully. We know the scripture, love thy neighbors as we love ourselves, for sure. But some people use adoption to get money. That's where the sin is probably at, the greed part, to get a check. You know what I'm saying? But if you're doing it from the kindness of your heart, for the loveness of your heart, versus being greedy for a check, because I believe the state gives off the check or a certain amount of money if you adopt a child too and whatnot. So some people do it for a check, man. Some people do it, man. Some people have kids for a check. Welfare, to live off the government. But that's another story. That's another topic for another day, for sure. All right. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Light Slim says, I've been in therapy, but it's really hard to get over. Wow. So Light Slim has been going through a situation of molestation, and this person went through therapy, and they're stating that it's really hard to get over. So like Flo said, that it can scar a person, for sure. And only the Most High can heal those wounds. All right. What up, E. Davis? What up? He says, anybody miss Pastor Geno Jennings preaching twice on Sundays? I be like, I want the evening service too. Nothing like the preaching in First Church. This world is draining. Absolutely. Joshua Smith, appreciate that. What up, Mason Herb? You says, what up, Tony? It's been a while. But as I told you years ago, okay, you said you were sexually abused from the age of 3. Wow, that's crazy, man. Now, what grown person in general with a mindset like that, would do that to a child? I remember, and I'll get back to your comment at Mason. I remember. I'm not going to say this person's name, I listen, I'll spare you. This person is from Facebook. I'll spare you, brother. You know what I mean? I'll spare you for sure. And he was locked up. He was locked up from some situation that happened. But before that, he had up a video. you know what I mean, of some child being molested. You were speaking against it, but even that could get you in trouble in general. You know what I'm saying? Even that could get you in trouble. And I had to check him. You gotta take that down, man. You definitely gotta take that mess down for sure. You know, we understand you mean well, but nah, that ain't cool. And you says from the age of 3 to 16, and now as an elder, I'm still carrying a lot of the weight. Wow, that's some deep stuff right there, man. To be sexually abused, you know, from the ages of 3 to 16. Wow, man. All right. Light Slim says, watch out for the old gizzard ones. Absolutely. You know, I listen. I see those old men looking at those young girls. It's a crazy situation. It's a crazy situation when you got a grown senior citizen, a grown man in his 40s, his 50s, his 60s, whatever, you know, looking at little kids, you know, they get enticed over those things. It's a sick, sad situation for sure, you know? All right. Stevenson says, family secrets. Oh, yeah. Family secrets. Family secrets. I'll get to you, Ronald Hunt, on Facebook. There's a lot of family secrets for sure. Whereas though you got the uncle, you got the grown cousin, you got the grandfather, you even got the fathers out there, you know, who will touch on their kids in a sexual manner. You understand? And think it's okay. What kind of sick mind is that? For real. And you know, some other family members may know about it, but they try to sweep it underneath the rug. They just as sick as the person that's touching on the kids. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure some is watching right now. You could be low riding, hiding behind the scenes, but something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Something wrong with you. All right? Let me go to Facebook. What up, Ronald Hunt? What up, Ronald Hunt? You says, I'm glad I've been under the word for over 20 years. Thanks for being for pastor. For sure. Shout out to Ronald Hunt from Facebook. All right. Family Secrets is a good one at Stevenson. K. Stevenson. Family Secrets. And it's a lot. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of families out there that's keeping things like that a secret. They don't want to say nothing. They know. They know. You know what I'm saying? They know once the cat is out the bag. I don't care if it was 20, 30 years ago. People can still get arrested for those things. You know? They could be sorry. They could repent and things like that. But the prosecutors and judges don't want to hear that, man. You know? Everybody ain't saved, man. Everybody don't follow the word. Listen, they may have a Bible in the courtroom, but they ain't following them scriptures like that. You know what I'm saying? So, them family secrets, man. you right on point with that one. At K. Stevenson. You know what I mean? All right. Miss Missa, you says no, they shouldn't be wanting to touch. I know it's not okay. Were the ages known before they were approached, though? Well, at Miss Missa, I'm not talking about more so like, let's say if a man meets a girl, you know, and she looks of age and she states that first of all, if she states that she's 18 and over, she should have identification, number one. You understand that? So I'm mainly talking about like grown men who touch on little kids. We're not talking about if you like meet somebody and things like that and she lie about her age or whatever. Now, if it's an excuse from the man, now that's the problem right there. But there has been cases where as though
females have lied about their ages, way back when. You know what I mean? Stating that they was 18, 19, 20, because some females can pass for that. By the way they look, by the way they put up on his makeup and all that other nonsense to make them look grown. They can pass for that. I'm not talking about that. You know what I mean? But in these days, you know what I mean? Now that we got technology and all this other stuff, where though you can look people up, find out their age and all this other stuff, whitepages.com, fastpeoplesearch.com, and all this other background checks and whatnot. You can find that stuff out. But you know what I mean? I'm not talking about that. Flo, you funny. You funny. What up, G Swole? Who says, hey, Tony, I hope all is well with you. So do you think a child molester can change? And will you trust a person like that living on your street knowing you got children? Do I think a child molester could change? Listen, that's a hard hit, man. That's a hard hit. I actually, how can I put this? How can I put this, man? I'm trying to put this in a safe zone, because when I was younger, 15, 16 years old, one of my cousins brought this person around me, and I should blast his name on here too. I didn't really hang with him too much, but he was older, but he looked younger. See, we didn't know that, but he was a creep. You know what I mean? Not within our circle, but with other people and their children. It didn't come out until about a couple of years ago, what he was doing, because it was this certain person who was allowing them to watch their children, to watch their child or children or whatever. I stopped hanging around him since I was 18 or whatever. But he kept hanging around the same people and whatnot, and they gained trust for him. But this person had a mind of a creep. So I picked that up at the age of 17 or 18. Listen, I can't hang around this brother. You know what I mean? You can't. Listen, when I was younger, man, I knew to terminate people, to stay away from certain individuals in general. You know what I mean? But years ago, he got caught. You know what I mean? And a lot of those type of people been doing that stuff. They been doing that stuff. So, but in general, like I said earlier, yeah, they can repent, they can change and things like that. But that's a hard hit, man. That's a hard. Can I trust them? No. You know what I'm saying? Would I forgive them in general? You know what I'm saying? If something was to happen, I have to. It's scripture. You know what I mean? I believe it's in the book of Matthew. I believe chapter 6. Chapter 6, I believe. All right. So you definitely got to be careful. You know what I mean? Around certain individuals. There's been a lot of people out here too, man, that I have seen on the national sex offenders list that I know. You know what I'm saying? That I know. That I looked at from Jersey City. And I'm like, wow, I know this person. I went to Lincoln High School with this person. You know what I'm saying? I grew up on this block with this person. You know what I mean? And it's like, wow, no wonder they acted a certain way, because it was always implanted in them since they was young. You know what I'm saying? All right. Would I trust them? No, I wouldn't trust them, man. I'm sorry. No, that's not a sin. You know what I'm saying? I still got to love them. I still got to forgive them. But do I have to trust them? No, I don't. You understand that? No, I don't. For sure. All right. What up, Only One Mic? What up, Only One Mic podcast? Shout out to that podcast, Only One Mic. He says, see you stepping up. For sure, man. For sure. I'm trying. For real. All right. What up? What is that? What is that? Pip the Prophet. You said I held it in till I was 30. From 9 years old. I've been fighting sexual demons since then. I'm 40 now. So this person on YouTube, Pip the Prophet 100, you says you held it in. I guess you're talking about being molested as a child. From the age of 9 years old. You know what I mean? Until you was 30. Now you're 40. That's some deep stuff right there. You know what I mean? Miss Mister, who says being molested by those who are a few years older than the victim is hard to speak on. Okay. Okay, I understand that. Definitely understand that. What up, Call Me Bless? What up, what up? Newark, New Jersey is in the building. What up, Newark? Let me see. Light Slim says, God delivered me from the anger and the hate, but I don't trust anyone. Okay. It's nothing wrong with, not trusting certain individuals or in general. What up, J.A. from Facebook? He says, this is causing the child a trauma, a big trauma in her life. I agree. At J.A. from Facebook. It definitely can cause trauma in a child's life. You know what I mean? What up, Tush? For sure, you're welcome. Appreciate that from Facebook. Shout out to those on Facebook watching and whatnot. Appreciate that. Elijah says, you don't know nothing at the age of 3. Well, you'd be surprised. Kids are smart because I still remember some things from the age of 2. Not saying that I was molested. Not at all. I not at all. But I'm talking about certain events that happened at the age of 2. You know what I'm saying? So kids are smart. You know, you said a child know nothing. They don't know the whole, how can I say, the whole interaction when that stuff happens, but I'm pretty sure they can remember those events. So when they get older, feelings and things like that can develop. And that's when that trauma starts because they understand that, wow, this is not right. This is wrong. Whereas though the molester is trying to put it in their mind, put it in their heart that it is right. Whereas though it's not. So where the trauma comes is what the molester is trying to do to their mind. You want to see Elijah? All right. Call me blessed. He says, hello, grace and peace, bro. Much love. Appreciate that. What up, Maria Nixon? You says it's horrific and disgusting to know a child has been molested. It turns them into damaged goods as an adult to either be straight as their gender or a menace to society to become a serial killer. Okay. All right. What up, Sister Carrie Foster? That's why I don't let my children around a lot of people. It's sad. Absolutely. That's a good point right there. That's an absolutely good point. I would hope nothing like that happens. I would hope not. I would I would hope not. For sure. You know what I mean? I would hope not. I'll be laying hands 2 ways. Physically and physically. For sure. You know what I mean? All right. Miss Mrs. says, my child was touched from 9 months. Wow. A baby. Touched at the 9 months? Really? Wow. You said till the age of 3 by a 10-year-old child that was in foster care, believing they were a victim too. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy for sure. Light Slim from YouTube, he says a generational curse. Wow. John Walters from YouTube, he says you was molested at the age of 4. Crazy. Athea McKenzie says you never get over it. The best you can do is tell why you're young and learn to deal with it. Speak of faculty about it. It's the only way I've gotten experience here in decades. Wow. That's some deep stuff right there for sure. What up, Judah J? What's up? You talking about Raz B? He's talking about Raz B. He's talking about Raz B from B2K. He says, like Raz B's situation. I didn't understand why Raz, you said you don't understand why Raz mad. I guess you mean mad at Marcus. I guess you're talking about Marcus Houston. You said when Chris Stokes allegedly forced Marcus Houston to do that to him crazy. Marcus Houston was a child himself. Chris Stokes was the only adult. Well, I believe Chris Stokes and Raz B is related. You know, and when I was younger, I used to talk to this girl who kind of had interactions with B2K. You know, and the stories are true. Absolutely. You know, it's a sick situation that a family member like Chris Stokes, and I believe it was another individual in there too, you know, who had interactions. It's crazy, man. They ain't do nothing to Chris Stokes. You know, they ain't do nothing to him. It's a sick man right there. Very sick guy, Chris Stokes, who did that to his own family, Raz B. You know, now look at what's going on into this guy mentally. You know what I mean? All these breakdowns and all these tantrums that he's having. Am I blaming Chris Stokes for it? Listen, Raz B is a grown man. You know, yes, people can have trauma and stuff like that. Yes, people can. You know, it's absolutely wrong for Chris Stokes to do that as a grown man. You know, and I wouldn't be surprised, you know, if it was more victims before Raz B, before Marcus Houston, or I don't know if Marion and all those other members was involved in that. But that's a crazy situation, man. For sure. But I do remember that situation. And the story is legit. For sure. You know what I'm saying? I ain't looking for no clout from these clowns or nothing like that. You know what I mean? I'm just calling a spade of what I know. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't trying to stir up nothing. Facts is facts. And wrong is wrong. You know what I'm saying? All right. John Walter says babysitter. Wow. A babysitter. So when you was 4 years old, a babysitter molested you? All right. Call Me Blessed says, let me see from the rip. I took most pleasure in locking up many sick people, many sick behind people for these crimes. I worked in special victim for 8 years, and I can't even tell you the horrendous stories. Horrible. This is Call Me Blessed. Newark, New Jersey's finest. You know, shout out to Newark, New Jersey Police Department. Appreciate your services and whatnot. You know, appreciate you for locking up these creeps too. All right? Absolutely. Light Slim says, I thank you for talking about this topic. No problem. Thank you for tuning in, listening, sharing your stories, sharing your comments, and everybody out there on Facebook and on YouTube. Let me see on Facebook. What up? He said some victims turn into sexual predators and the cycle continues. Wow. Some victims turn into sexual predators and the cycle continues. That's some deep stuff right there. Wow. Absolutely. I think somebody just said something like that earlier, for sure. All right. You're absolutely right on that one. Latifa. Athea McKenzie says one of the acting out parts of the child molestation is that the victim becomes the abuser before long if they don't tell and get help. True. Jameson Grant says, what up, Tony? Did Pastor Gino ever speak about the slavery in the Bible in Leviticus and Exodus and Deuteronomy? Also, what do you think of Jesus saying, slave, obey your masters? I'm trying to remember the video. I think maybe Jude and Perito has that video up. You'll probably have to go to his YouTube channel, go to his videos, and he has a search bar and type it in. But I don't recall putting out a video upon slavery at all. But I think Jude and Perito has those videos. You know, I think he does. I can't remember the video where Gino was talking about slave or be your masters, but I did hear about it. You know, I have to look at my notes later, and Lord willing, I come across it. You know, but me personally, I haven't gotten to that. You know, or don't really remember too much of that passage of scripture. You know, to really touch on it. All right, forgive me. You know, Maria Montgomery says, "Don't even make any sense for this." But I was abused as a child, and if you tell, sometimes the man tells the wife, and they believe him, and they don't believe you, it's a terrible thing. So, Maria Montgomery, that's a good point right there. So basically, what Maria Montgomery is saying off of YouTube is that she was abused, I guess sexually abused, but in general, when the child is sexually abused, and they tell a wife on the husband, you know, the wife don't believe the child. They believe the husband. And I've heard of a lot of situations like that, you know, where as though, if this is the correct saying, that the wife is in denial, that the husband would do something like that, whereas though they think that the girl is trying to push up on the husband. And that's the reason why she's stating that the husband is sexually abusing her or trying to make a pass at her. You know, you got a lot of silly women out here, you know, who don't want to believe that. You know, so if a child is telling you that they are being sexually abused by the husband or in general, and you don't believe it, you know, wake up or try to get some type of proof in general. You know, and even then if you have proof on that person, they still don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? They stuck in la la land. Or they try to sweep it underneath the rug just so their family member or their spouse won't get prison. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of them out there. It's a lot of them. Call Me Blessed says zero, and I mean zero tolerance when it comes to sexual assaults of children. Absolutely. Absolutely. What up, Aaron Sparrow? What up? What up? G Swole says, seriously, that's why I'm scared for my little niece. G Swole says. He says, it's a sorry excuse for a person to claim they didn't know they were messing with a kid. I don't care how much their bodies look mature. A grown man or woman should know based on conversation they are talking to a kid. You have a point right there. You have a point. You're absolutely right. You do have a point. You know, I agree with you on that one, for sure. And that was Call Me Blessed off of YouTube. You know, you definitely had a good point, for sure. All right. Let me see. Let me see. Elijah, what are you talking about, man? From YouTube. I don't know what you're talking about. G Swole says, so it's okay to forgive, but not to forget. Well, we human, man. It's hard to forget something. It's hard to. It's absolutely hard to forget something, especially something like that. You know, especially something like that for sure. All right. What up, Sanchez? What up? What up? He says women like that love the man more the safety of the child. says women. Okay, I understand. So Sanchez from Facebook, he says women like that love the man. I guess you're talking about the statement that I made not too long ago. He says women like that love the man more than the safety of the child. Terry Blakely says they just had Geno Jennings church surrounded the Israel guys. I wish I was there. I wish I was there. You know, I really wish. You know, I was there for sure. But I'm pretty sure, they handle it pretty well. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm pretty sure. All right. But that's the second time I heard that today, that some Israelites was out there or whatever. You know what I mean? But they'll be a fool to try to start something crazy. It'd definitely be a fool, definitely. All right, back to the topic at hand. Okay. But that's not the first situation that, if they was heckling, that's not the first situation. It's been many situations of, people coming around there heckling and whatnot, So it's not nothing new, but it's no worries for sure. I'm pretty sure they got that handled for sure, But I wish I was there, man. I wish I was there. Oh man, for sure. All right. Let me get back to these comments on YouTube. What up, Rebecca? New York in the building. G Swole says, this might sound okay. G Swole. Now, before I read this, I got to give a disclaimer to YouTube. This is not to violate any type of YouTube guidelines. This is not to violate any type of Facebook community guidelines at all. This is not to cause cyberbullying or any type of harassment when I read this comment. All right. So G Swole 100 says, off of YouTube, he says, okay, this might sound too inappropriate, and you might not want to answer it due to sin. But why do they mark people that get caught having sex in public as sex offenders? Oh, I thought I was going to read something more crazier, Well, I don't know nothing about that, man. I never heard of that. I've never heard of, when that type of action happened in public, that they have to register as sex offenders. This is my first time ever hearing about something like that. I guess it all depends upon what state you in too, because each state has different laws and whatnot, All right. So what state you in, or what state you're talking about? Because I never heard of nothing like that, Hey, call me blessed. You heard of something like that? Being that, you served about 26 years on the Newark, New Jersey Police Department, Only One Mike podcast says there's some people so creepy you wouldn't let them watch your kids on TV. That's funny. What up, Jamel? He says when you're there for your kids, they know your phone number by heart. The little ones, 5 and 6 in my case. What up? What up, Truth of God, Brother Ray? Who says, big bro, I'm so ready for congregation. I play the drums Thursday night. Absolutely, man. It's gonna be definitely wonderful. Greensboro, North Carolina. All right. You says don't let Call Me Blessed says don't let your kids visit people's homes. Allow your children around new boyfriends or girlfriends. Good point. That's a good point right there. Do not let your kids visit people's homes. Allow your children around new boyfriends and girlfriends, or even your children around yours. People are too free with letting folks around their kids. Wow. It's a deep one right there, for sure. All right. Could have sworn I saw somebody. What up, Tosh? What up? What up? What up? What up, Shelly Davis? You says people who stand by knowing that children are being abused are just as guilty, especially these so-called family members, for sure. You're absolutely right. All right. John Letcher from Facebook. You says, what about TV ministers talking about $1,000 seed in harvest? Well, I think we touched on that before. You know, I think we touched on it about those type of preachers who do that for greed. You know, 1 minute they asking for $50, then they up it to 100, then they up it to 500, then 1,000, then 5,000. You know, they're manipulating the people. You know what I mean? To empty their pockets. I'm totally against that for sure. You know what I mean? Definitely totally against that. But I think we touched on that already. You know what I mean? All right. You said so many family secrets have gone to the grave with stories and horrors of molestation tight within the family. Wow. You're right. You're right. Call me blessed. All right. G Swole says, I remember hearing about the bodyguard or the limo driver. Okay. Little Bow Wow when I was in middle school. Well, I haven't heard of that story. I haven't heard that, you know. That's my first time ever hearing about a situation happening with him. You know, Silky Smooth says, I wanted to date a girl 2 years younger than me in school, and I was looked at like I was crazy. From that moment, I only dated older women. That's funny. All right. What up, Pam Davis? What up, Jeanette Marva A from YouTube? John Walter says, I was in a state of depression for over 10 years. Wow. J.A. from Facebook says, trust no one in these days. It's a deep one right there. Listen, trust is earned, and that's tough. Trust is very, very tough and very thin in these days, for sure. Very, very thin in these days. Very. You know? All right. Monica Brown. You said that's true. My mom boyfriend tried offer. He says, what do you mean? Offer? Are you trying to spell offer? Offer me while I was pregnant. And she say I was lying on him, never believed me. So Monica Brown from YouTube, you know, she says her mother boyfriend tried to make a pass at her or something of that or something of that occasion, you know, while she was pregnant. And the mother stated that she was lying, believing the boyfriend, you know, and never believed her. There's a lot of situations out there like that, you know. All right. What up, Tyler from YouTube? All right. What up, Mildred Young? You says, greetings, Tony. You are ready for the international convocation this week? Absolutely. Oh, you say California, G Swole? Oh, that's California. Wow. Wow. Okay. Absolutely. And Rebecca, for sure. John Walter says, I already filed a report today for banning me. I told him that's 11 times. That's $11 million. I'm suing. Rebecca says, you're not supposed to let your kids around no one unless you know them in depth. In depth. All right? In depth. Excuse me. For sure. All right. Just missed this comment. Sister Carrie Foster from YouTube. It says, I was 8 years old, about to get raped outside a church after a night service. But gratefully, his mother yelled for him so they could leave. I'm thankful God had intervened on my behalf. Wow. That's a crazy situation right there. You know? That's a crazy situation. All right. G Swole. He says, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but why every time we hear about a child molester, we automatically assume the child molester is a male? Like there's no females out there like that. I mentioned females earlier. I mentioned that. I mentioned it could be a grown woman. We said that earlier. I said that earlier. I said grown man or even a grown woman. I said that earlier in this live. It just so happened the majority of the cases are dealing with grown men. That's almost like it's almost like being parallel to a woman raping a man. You don't hear too many stories about that, but you hear a lot of stories on a man raping a woman. That's not saying that there's no stories out there of a woman raping a man. It's just the majority of it that's reported to the media and to law enforcement in general. But there are females out there who have molested kids, grown women and stuff like that. There are, so I'm not straying away from that. We did mention that. All right. That was to G Swole from YouTube. Sanchez from Facebook. He says, as kids, we couldn't spend the night at nobody's house, including family growing up. I'm glad my dad was strict like that. He warns us of things like that, and it protected us in the long run. And we still practice this to this very day at Sanchez Jefferson from Facebook. All right. Okay. All right. Call me blessed says lock them up too. Trust just not as common. You're right. You're absolutely right for sure. All right. We're about to come into a conclusion for this live. I appreciate everybody for coming on this live, whether on YouTube, whether on Facebook. Appreciate the comments coming in. Those who shared their stories upon, molestation and things like that. I'm pretty sure it was a tough thing to do, for sure. But I'm pretty sure, we have learned something on here, in reference to trusting people, in reference to don't hold that stuff in. Talk to somebody about it. Don't think you could deal with something like that, bundled up within yourself. Of course, go to God, but of course you gotta really express that to somebody, upon what you went through. You know what I mean? All right. If you want to start the healing process in general, All right. I'm gonna read this one last one, and then we're gonna knock off for sure. All right. Jared James says, I heard about a teacher who was sexually attracted to kids and they still allowing him to teach. Well, that's another thing. You're hearing about a lot of these teachers out there in high school and whatnot, or grammar school, or elementary school, having sexual relations with these students and whatnot. That's a part of that. You know what I'm saying? It's getting crazy out there. It's definitely getting crazy for sure. All right. So as we conclude this live, which we talked about child molestation and a lot of creeps out there, we'll be back, Lord willing, next week on YouTube and Facebook for sure. But I'm on this live. I try to be on this live on YouTube Monday through Friday or whatever, as many days as I can on YouTube. But Facebook, once every week, join in with YouTube. All right. I hope everybody have a wonderful night tonight. Get a wonderful sleep. It's top of the week tomorrow, Monday. I know we all gotta, most of us gotta wake up tomorrow for that work that we don't want to wake up and get up in the morning for sure. So I thank everybody for coming on these lives for sure. Do remember to hit up my secondary YouTube channel, Tony Harvin, backup channel. We got a lot of videos coming. Visit them groups on Facebook. The groups on Facebook will be blasting the truth of God. Do remember, next week, it's the Holy Convocation, Greensboro, North Carolina, July the 14th through the 17th. It's definitely going to be wonderful. Show up. We are conducting interviews for sure on that Saturday. Me, C Rock Smooth, Minister Dan Thompson, and this another and the Spanish minister. So you would like to give your testimony? We'll be live, I believe, on camera and whatnot. So come through Greensboro, North Carolina, next Saturday. All right. So I'm ending this night. Good night to everybody. Prayers, much love, no hate for nobody, no malice for nobody. Peace and blessings. I'm out. Peace.